Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Xbox Live episode 275 Gaming Resolutions. I am your host, Mark, aka Wingman709, and as you can probably hear my annoying dog in the background, I apologize for that. I plan to shoot him and bury him in the desert here in the next couple of hours. With me, as always, is my good buddy Rob. How you doing, Rob?
Hey, what's up, man? Actually, for a second there, I thought as soon as you said my annoying, I thought you were going to say co-host or something, but you didn't.
No, no, my stupid dog started barking just as I played the intro, and I don't know if you can hear him. He's still going. Hopefully, you won't hear him, but
Yeah, he's still going.
so stupid dog. So
Don't you have one of those like on the air lights outside your room that he should respect
I need to get one, but he doesn't
or
listen to me.
something?
He
Yeah,
ignores me. So he's a dumb dog.
yeah,
But
yeah.
anyways, anywho, anyhow, um, welcome to the show, guys. This is episode 275. My goodness, that's a big number.
275. Yes, it
Um,
is.
you can check out our website at thisxboxlife.com. And Rob, I believe you do have some news about our website.
Yeah, absolutely. So the other day we did some pretty extensive updates to the site,
We
and it
did.
is now.
I'm so
Yes,
tired, man.
we did. I know, right? And the website is now fully responsive, and what that means for everybody basically is that it'll look good on mobile devices no matter what it is, tablet, a phone. It'll resize itself. It'll be a very long up and down website, but it'll be nice and readable. So it will enhance your This Xbox Life experience even more. This is another thing that we do for you, our community of listeners.
We're always working hard,
So
aren't we?
so enjoy.
Enjoy.
That's right. That's right.
So, cool. And as always, we often are asked, how can I support you guys? You can support us by shopping at Amazon. Isn't that right, Rob?
That's right, my friend. So, any Amazon purchases that you make, please go ahead and click on our link off of our website, our new fully responsive website, or you can just bookmark thisxboxlife.com/Amazon, and it'll just take you straight there. So it'll help support the show, help pay for our server costs, and uh, we're going to be doing some prizes and stuff like that in the near future, right? Getting there. We're getting there.
Yes, we're getting there.
Yep.
We definitely are. So, I'm looking forward to handing some of this cool stuff out, man.
Yeah, that's so much fun,
So,
believe it or not.
it is.
Yes, yes, yes.
All right, so let's jump into what we've been playing. And Rob, let's start with you this week.
Sure, absolutely. So, first thing that I've been playing, something that I've been playing for a couple weeks now, is Max Curse of the Brotherhood. I finally went through and I finished it. I got all those amulet pieces, and all of the eyeballs. So, got that squared away. And then I was looking through. So, once you finish all that, it gives you 750 gamer score. And I was looking through the achievements for the rest of it to get the other 250, and there weren't too many. They were all like 50 point. At least the majority of them were 50-point achievements. But they were ones where I was looking at them like, no, I think I'll pass. Where you just have to, like you were saying, Mark, a couple shows ago, where they're basically just got to go through this entire level without dying, and then they're not exactly the easiest levels, like the lava one, I think,
Yeah.
or the fire, whatever they called it.
And the
Those
one
are the
with that where
levels
you're sliding, the sliding escape is another one.
which, with the really long one,
The one where you got
with
to
the
go
long,
down that log, and then it falls
yeah.
out, and you got to kind of slow mos, and you got to draw the vine just right,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
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 that's a long one. I'm not bothering with that.
yeah. One little tipper for those of you that maybe are in the middle of playing that. When you get to those, there's some vines that you're better off drawing close, and other ones you're better off drawing further away, so they swing into you. So just keep that in mind. Because sometimes I was really struggling with the vines, and then I was like, oh yeah, if I do it away from me, it'll swing into me, which will be perfect. It won't go too quickly. Versus it's right there in front of you, and then it kind of just swings away. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. You're going to the right, the vine's going to the right, and then you go down.
Yeah. The timing on there is can be a little frustrating sometimes.
Oh, yeah. But it's a good frustrating. Lots of fun. Fantastic game. Fantastic game. Uh, I would. I'd probably say so far this is one of my most favorite games so far on the Xbox One. I'm not saying that the other games aren't awesome or aren't good, or I'm not saying that they're bad. It's just that this one was a heck of a lot of fun for me. It was so different, and that was just wonderful. Then I went a little old school, and I went back to the 360, and I played Shoot Many Robots, which was that the last one? Was that the end of December game?
Yes.
No, I hadn't played this one before, and I started this up, and I immediately thought, "Oh, these graphics are kind of like Borderlands. This is pretty cool," because they had these little cube robots, which reminded me of Claptraps. And then the gameplay started. About 5 minutes later, I exited out of the game, and I said, "This is crap."
Yeah.
And yeah, I am not a fan, and I was been kind of in a, I won't say gaming rut, where I've been very down on a lot of games, sort of like, I don't like them or they're boring or something like that. But I really did not care for Shoot Many Robots. I'll probably give it another chance another day, just to see if I made a fair assumption my first go through, but not a big fan of that. After that abysmal fail for me, I went and I played Sleeping Dogs. That is cool. I like that game. It's a lot of fun. Man, there's a lot of dudes that try to beat up on Wei Chen, I think is his name.
Yeah, that's a really good game. If I
Yeah,
played it, and I'm considering buying some of the DLC because I went ahead and downloaded this. I've beat
there's
the
a lot of it.
game, but yeah, there's DLC, and it was all on sale recently, or I
Yep,
think it is right now. It's all like 50% off or something. So
that's real
really,
cheap.
really cheap. I'm probably gonna end up picking it up, but that's a super fun open world game. The combat in it was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of it,
Yep.
to the point of where I was literally going through, fighting, I don't know, 7, 8 guys at once, and your fingers are hurting, at least mine, because I'm just mashing the buttons, doing my, Y's and the X's, X, 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 hold X, all those little combos. And then you get past that, and boom, you're in another fight with another half dozen guys. Those people just do not get along, but it's a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying the game and the story, and I'm really pleased with this one, especially after the other game. Then I played a little bit of Peggle 2 and Halo Spartan Assault. Yeah, not much to say about those. So that's about it for me. How about you, Mark?
They're awesome. I played some more XCOM: The Enemy Within on my
Awesome.
360. Having a great time with that. It's great fun. It's a long game too, just like the original was. So I'm having fun with that. There's a lot of new stuff, a lot of new features, a lot of new things you can do with your soldiers and stuff, and it's really neat upgrade. I also played a little game that Rob, you talked about before, and it's The Wolf Among Us. And
Yes.
I finally gave it a shot, and
Excellent.
I played through. And when I was first playing it, when I first started playing it, I was like, okay, it's kind of interesting,
I know
but it
exactly
was
what you
kind of
mean.
weird. It was kind of like, at first I didn't realize what this was. When I first started playing, I had no clue of like what this was about. Um, and then I
Yeah, it's based off of a
realized
comic book.
it's based off a lot of fairy tales. It's like
True.
everything's a
It's
fairy tale,
They're all fairy tale characters
right?
brought into the
Which was
real
weird, and
world.
I didn't know that. I had no clue. So
Okay.
I was like, when he was talking, when there was something about like Little Red Riding Hood, and he's the wolf, and I was like, huh? I'm like, it was just, I was like, what? Why? And because it first clicked when I saw Ichabod Crane. That was the
Okay,
first time I
yeah.
was like, well, that's kind of strange. And then I
That name's
realized the girl's
familiar.
name was her last name was White, and I'm like,
Snow White.
Is that Snow White? And then it turned out it was. And then I'm like, and because like when you first start off, you really don't know what's going on. I mean, it's just this interesting game, and you're fighting this really tough dude, and
Yeah, because
um,
you're a sheriff of sorts. You're a police sheriff type of
yeah,
character, and you really, like you said, have no idea what's going on. Everybody seems to not like you.
yeah, everybody hates you. So, but so as I'm playing through it, I'm like, okay, it's all right. But by the time I got to the end of it, and when it ended, I'll say this: I was really ticked off.
Yes.
I was mad. I was like,
Oh yeah.
"What? No!" I was like, "No, you're no!" I couldn't believe what happened, and then it was like that was the end, and I was like, so I exited out and went and bought the season pass.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, come on, you got to give me episode two. Um,
I know, right?
Very interesting game. I did like it. I really did enjoy it, and I'm really looking forward to it. The next one. But again, it was like with the whole character thing, like the first person you talk to outside of, well, yeah, the very first person you talk to is this frog, this toad,
Oh yeah.
6 foot tall toad. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Why is he talking to a toad? And then I went back later and realized that was
Wasn't he in a
probably,
wife beater or something?
yeah. And then I realized later on he was probably the toad from Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. That I think
Yeah.
that's who he is. So it was interesting. And, the whole all that fairy tale stuff. I was it's just like I don't get what this all is, but the story is really cool. And I have no idea what's going on, but very good game. So if you do like the Telltale Walking Dead game, if you do enjoy that, and you want another. Now, people have said, Rob, you said the same thing, and I've seen other people in the community say, oh, it's very different from The Walking Dead. I
It
don't
is.
think it is very different. There is different control stuff. There's things the way you control and move your character, but it's still essentially a almost like you're playing a comic book, just like the Walking Dead series. And it's telling a
Okay.
story, and you're more watching it. You're more watching than playing. There's you can still investigate and look at things just like in when you're walking around and you highlight an object, you can look at it or pick it up just like in The Walking Dead. So I think it's still a lot like it. It's just a different story. It's still told in the same gameplay of if you
It.
will, and
I
your
see what you're
choices will
saying, right?
matter. And I think your choices will move forward.
Yes.
So I think it is a lot like The Walking Dead. So if you've enjoyed the Walking Dead games by Telltale, I think you're going to like this too. It was a lot of fun. It didn't catch me as quickly as Walking Dead did, but by the end of it, and it was rather short, but by the end of it, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to know, I got to keep playing. I got to figure this one out. And I was shocked when I saw how it ended because it
Yes.
was really neat because when you get to that very end part, and I don't want to say anything, but your character's walking up to something, okay, and something's happened, and it's like everything, the way everything's going around, I was like, okay, are they after? Is something I don't. All these things went through my mind. I'm trying not to say to give anything away. So many things went
Right.
through my mind. I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what to expect, and what I saw was not what I was expecting at all. Um, I actually was expecting something else, and wow, I was mad. I was actually kind of angry at what I
No,
saw.
I.
Um, didn't make me happy, and I want to keep playing the game. So, really well done. I gotta say, I think I'm becoming a big time fan of Telltale.
Same here.
These games are out of my norm. This is not something I
Oh,
would
for
normally
sure. For
play,
sure.
and I have absolutely loved this gameplay and the storytelling.
Because
So,
what these do is they tell a story that you're a part of, and when I say you're a part of it, that's you're very much like loosely a part of. You make some minor decisions, but I think the end outcome is the same. But you get wrapped up in that in these stories. You I don't say you start to care about the people, but it's almost like you know these people. It's just you build some kind of emotional connection to them, and they really play on that. As soon as you build that, like with The Wolf Among Us, as soon as they as soon as you build that emotional connection with somebody, they just tear it right apart.
Yep.
There's a there's a couple there's actually two instances where I got so mad. Like one was right in the beginning because there was the woodsman.
Hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
And then what happened shortly thereafter? I was
Oh.
so upset over that. And then well, I don't want to give anything away about the
Yeah.
last part,
We might
but
have to chat
the last
offline.
part too. Yeah. But fantastic, fantastic game. The the quick synopsis of the premise of this is it's based on a comic book I think called Fables, where there's all of these storybook characters, very similar to that TV show Once Upon a Time. I don't know if you've ever seen it. That's actually a pretty good show. You might want to check it out if you've got Netflix or something. But you have all of these storybook characters that come into the real world, and they're living in a small area of New York, and they use this stuff. Oh, I forgot what it's called. What do they call that stuff that makes them look human? Do you remember?
Oh, it's called
Not disguise.
Gleam or Glamour.
Yeah,
Glamour.
glamour. Yeah, I think
Glamour.
that's right. So they basically have to buy this stuff called glamour, which now converts them into people. And granted, this is only for the people that aren't human, like the frog, etc. So if they don't use this glamour stuff, then they have their normal form, and it's basically they're coexisting with everybody and basically hiding amongst in the middle of everybody,
Right.
and it's not kind. I think the description that I gave to the game when I first played it was this game is not kind.
It's not.
It is
It.
not. It is.
I mean, dude, the first couple of minutes, as soon as I started it, I was like, "Oh my goodness, my kids were up," and I had to like quickly mute and go close my door.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, "Okay, we got to play this later." So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. There's a little
it's very
bit of
foul.
language.
A
Yeah.
little.
A
There's
bit
a
of
lot.
yeah. A little bit of foul language, and so the premise is the storybook characters have come into the real world, and then the big bad wolf. He's the main character. What Bixby?
Bigsby,
Bigby?
yeah.
Bigsby. Bigsby's his name, and he's the big bad wolf, and everybody hates him for everything that he's done, like with Little Red Riding Hood
The three
and
little
all that.
pigs.
Yeah, Three Little
Because
Pigs.
he talks to the pig that's in his house. I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh
why
yeah,
is it?
yeah,
I mean, it's still, I wasn't, when he was talking to that pig, I still was like, what is he? What? I'm still like, what, okay, I'm talking to a frog. I'm talking to a
yeah.
pig. The pig's talking about him blowing his house down or something. I'm like, why? Then it's like, that's
And
like,
they're bitter.
they were starting to get this, like, connection to the fairy tales, but they were all a lot not fairy tale characters because they're all dropping the F bomb and everything else,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, wow.
Like one of the Three Little Pigs. What he wants to smoke cigarettes and drink whiskey,
Yes.
and he crashes on the wolf's couch.
Yes. It's a great game. So check it out. You will not be disappointed. And I don't know if it's still free. The first episode was free. I know during that sale it might still be free. So if you haven't gotten it, go check it out quickly to see if it's still available. And then it's like $15 for the season pass for all the rest of the episodes. So,
Well worth it.
well,
Great
yeah,
story.
definitely. Okay, so moving
All
on, I
right.
did play Shoot Many Robots. I kind of had the same impression as you did. Played some more Halo Spartan Assault, and I played some Dead Rising 3. Love that game. I was able to, with the help of Democulus, he helped me complete all the. There are these challenges where these like this green. I forgot what they're called, but there's some kind of challenges. You'll walk up to this green glowing orb, and it says, "Oh, take out so many." using only flame weapons kill so many zombies in a set amount of time to get the gold. And there's 3 achievements for bronze, silver, and gold. And doing 25, and there's like 25 challenges. So I had a few left to do, and he helped me knock them all out today. It's definitely easier to do if you got a co-op partner. So I got all those. I'm down to 2 achievements in that game. One's building every combo weapon, and one's doing all the PP challenges, which are going to be very time consuming. So I'm going to work at it. But here's something cool. I'm going to show you guys. Play a little video of this. But I was able to get a little bonus today. There was a challenge on this game, and it started, I think, on Christmas Day or maybe the day after Christmas, where if you within a set amount of time, and it's still running right now, and because I completed it today, but to blow up or explode 1,000 zombies. Well, I guess I got it today while I was playing, and because I didn't even notice it till just before we were about to record, and it said there was that there was an award, and it said a hat. A New Year's hat. So I went and loaded up the game, and here I went to my closet, and of course, I guess let me start the video. And sure enough, as you can see, that I got a hat. I walked in, and there was this New Year's hat. So it just says Happy New Year, but I thought it was kind of cool. I got an in-game clothing item just for doing a challenge. So I think the challenges, they don't have achievements tied to them. They still fall in the achievement system, but I think it's cool if these developers will give you an in-game item like this. I do like that. Also, if you notice this video, it looks like I'm looking at an arcade cabinet. When I went and ran Upload Studio today, I noticed a whole bunch of new, what do they call them, filters? No, I can't remember what they're called. But
skins or
skins, thank you. Yes, skins. They got a whole bunch of new skins, and this was called Arcade, so the one you're looking at is from Upload Studio. There's a bunch of new ones that were added. I don't know when they appeared, but I thought that was kind of cool. So... But anyways, I just wanted to show off my hat, my Happy New Year's hat.
Happy New Year!
So, but and a Happy New Year to the TXL community.
That's right. That's right.
But all right, well, let's jump into it. We got a couple of stories this week. It should be a shorter show, which there's just not a lot of news at the top of the year. Basically, and we got a lot of gaming resolutions from our community that we're going to run through later on. And so let's just jump right into our news, Rob.
That's right. Okay, so the first thing that we've got is Major Nelson was interviewed by.
Look at you! Changed my script.
I know. I snuck this one in real quick.
This one's already in our list.
It is.
Yes.
I didn't see it.
It's,
Okay, then I'll skip it for now.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so. The first series of games that are going to be part of the Games with Gold promotion. I don't know if I should call it a promotion because it's now a feature, right? Or of sorts. Because they're going to be doing Games with Gold moving forward.
It sounds like it originally was going to go to the end of last year, and now they're
That's
saying
right.
we're just going to do it for. And I think they have to because PSN's doing it.
Yeah. So let's say the Games with Gold program. So the first part of January, we have Sleeping Dogs, which we talked about a little bit ago. Fantastic game. Definitely get this. Highly recommended from both Mark and myself. And then for the second half of January, starting, I believe, the 16th, is going to be Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light. Now, this is not Tomb Raider that came out last year. This is the game that came out for the Summer of Arcade. Was it this year or last year? Anyway, within the last year and a half, it came out, I remember. So definitely check out those titles. Definitely get Sleeping Dogs if you haven't gotten it yet. And definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs, it takes a little over 6 gig too, so...
Yeah, it is a big download.
I was down to like 1 gig of space, so I had to go and... I blew away all my Battlefield 3 stuff, because I'm like, I don't play that game. And I almost had 20 gig on there worth of downloaded stuff, so...
Yeah, when I went to queue it up, I was looking at the size and thinking, do I have that much free? And I started and it didn't complain, so... Whew.
Yeah, mine quit right away. It said not enough space, so I went and some space. Yeah, I had 1 gig. I was like, ouch. So, but, all right, cool. I definitely want to get that Lara Croft game. I definitely want to check that out, so...
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to the middle of the month to get that one. And Sleeping Dogs, absolutely worth a free game, man. That is
Yeah,
fantastic.
and I think in what 2.5 weeks we have the release of Tomb Raider for the Xbox One as well. So I think that's coming out on 22nd or something.
Yep.
Definitely looking forward to that one as well. Yeah, 21st or 22nd
You know
probably.
what? I gotta ask because I gotta ask you a question. I
Okay.
was out this weekend. I went. You remember Bo?
Yeah.
Him and I went to the Xbox One event. Well, him and I went out to the range on Saturday morning
Yeah.
and did Call of Duty for real.
Yep.
So, in fact, he said by the time we left, he goes, "This has got me in the I got to go play some Call of Duty now."
Oh,
Because
nice.
you get out there shooting the real guns, it's like, yeah, I want to go play Call of Duty. But we were talking games, and
Yeah.
he had mentioned that, and he's like, "Are you really gonna, you know, buy that again? Because it's the same game." And I got to thinking about it. I'm like, do I really want to pay $60 for another copy of a game I already have just to play it on my Xbox One and get more achievements? Because I don't really care about achievements. It's going to look better. But if I really want to play it, I could just play it on 360 over again
Yep.
and not spend the $60. So, he really made a good point. And I was excited to play it on the one, but then again, I'm like, I could just replay it. I don't think it's going to be that big of a, it looks so good on the 360 anyways. Do I really care if the trees are moving? Where the
Yes, you
fish
do.
get out of my way, or
Absolutely.
so I think I might pass. I
Okay.
might rent it. I will probably put it on to rent, but I won't. I don't think I'll buy it. So I might play it again that way, but I'm not gonna plunk the money down.
Right.
So because all the stuff that extra that it comes with is all DLC stuff that all the DLC is all multiplayer, and I didn't like the multiplayer,
Okay.
so I don't really care about it. So I was just curious about you. Are you still planning to buy it?
Absolutely.
And did you buy it on 360?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna have two copies.
Yep.
Okay, we'll see what I do. It comes out on January 28th. So I do love it. I do love the game.
It's a fantastic game.
It is.
For what it is, if I think if you enjoy that game that much, like I do, for example, it's worth it because there's a lot more expensive ways to have less fun.
I might have to just for the fact to support the developer and hope they make another one. And it is the only game I would look to buy until March 11th. There's nothing coming out for me to buy until March 11th
Yeah.
except Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, which I hope is not a $60 game.
Yeah.
So maybe I will. Maybe I'll look at it that way.
You know what?
See.
It'll be an impulse buy at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably.
Which is the danger of going all digital or at least having everything available. It was one thing on the 360 where you had a lot of titles available to you that were, on demand, but you didn't have everything. So here, if you've got that itch to play something new at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, whenever it is, Sunday night when all the stores are closed, you can get it.
Yeah,
You can get it with a click of a button.
it's true.
It's dangerous stuff. Exciting times, my friend.
It is. All right, so
Okay.
let's move on to our next one. And this one is a bit of a mystery because originally there was a story that had come out that Microsoft has filed a trademark for a new game called Thrown Together. And IGN stated just like a week ago, it was probably I think it was Monday maybe. They said unfortunately the trademark application was filed on December 19th, but only appeared in the U.S. Patent Office on the night of the 29th of December. Doesn't give any details about it. They don't know if it's, they were kind of wondering if it's an Xbox One game, maybe some of the new IPs Microsoft promised, and they said keep it, to them for more info. However, as I was looking for an image on this today, I came across another story that says that Microsoft has just released the game on Windows 8.1. and it's available for desktop computers and tablets running the new OS. And it's called Thrown Together. The game requires players to build castles out of blocks that could withstand a number of challenges, all through a total of 65 different levels. Uh,
Hmm.
so what initially I had this story in here thinking, hey, we may have a new Xbox game coming. Looks like it's now a Windows 8.1 game. But that being said, doesn't mean we won't see this on Xbox One,
Right.
because essentially this Xbox One has a lot in common with Windows 8. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this get ported over, or being appearing on the store eventually. So, but supposedly this is already out. So they
Yeah,
just
it
released
looks like
this.
it's available for Windows 8.1.
Yeah, as of yesterday, January 4th, this was available. So if you're looking for, if you have a Surface tablet or Windows 8.1 on your desktop and want to check out a new game, there you go, Thrown Together.
Yeah, I don't see it. Oh well. I just did a search in the store real quick. I don't see it.
Well, they said
So
the article said it was available as of January 4th.
yeah,
That was yesterday, so
yeah.
I don't know. That could be wrong. So it was weird. It was just like, why am I seeing one IGN not knowing anything about it, and this other no-name site says it's available on now. So it was kind of weird. So if this does come to Xbox or we get more information about it, we'll be sure to let you know.
Yes. All right, let me get back to my out of this Microsoft Store business and to get back to the real deal here. All right, moving on. Titanfall, very, very, very highly anticipated release for a lot of Xbox One owners. Uh, uh, the developer confirmed that the game will have snipers, but the snipers won't work kind of like how they've worked in a lot of the other shooters out there. And that particularly, I can't talk right now. I'm sorry. Let me start over.
You were
So
without speech.
I am without speech. I am not believing. So sniping is in the game, but it's going to be different than traditional shooters up until this point. And in particular, they're talking about quick scoping and no scoping. Basically, they will be ineffective
Yeah.
in
Woohoo!
Titanfall. So if you're, I guess, for lack of better words, an abuser of the system, and you like quick scoping and no scoping, etc., then boohoo for you. Um, uh, Basically, a story that they published on Joystick says how Titanfall's developers plan to counter these tactics is unknown. It could be simply that players move too fast for quick scoping and no scoping to work properly, or Respawn may have increased the amount of time necessary to aim and then fire. Uh, Basically, they haven't heard anything back from Respawn in regards to this, but this is probably welcome news to a lot of people, except for those that rely on this to actually be good at a game.
I find it welcoming.
Yes,
So,
very much so.
all right.
Back to you, my friend.
All right. Well, a non-profit group has created a Tomb Raider fan film, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
posted this out on our Facebook group sometime this past week. Rob, did you get a chance to see that film?
I did not know.
I would check it out. I thought it was really cool, and it didn't quite. It, in my opinion, either I missed something at the beginning or it had a twist at the end. But I figured it out. But it wasn't exactly what I was thinking when it was playing through. But it was pretty neat. I thought it was very well done. Um, and check it out. It's you can find it. Well, I think let me double check, but I believe that I favorited it on our YouTube page. So if you go to
Yep.
youtube.com/, this Xbox Life, it is on one of our. I think it's right on our main page. It's on the liked videos. It's actually the very first one. Under our liked videos, it says Croft Fan Film. So check it out. It's like 20 minutes long. Very well done. Really neat. And I thought it was pretty cool. Especially for a fan film. So check
Hmm.
it out. That's about it. And one thing I think it's cool about these fan films is I'm hoping that if that people see the popularity of these types of things, that we might get good quality theatrical versions of stuff, like the Halo movie, the one that they did. Although it was at 5 or 6 episodes that they did, I mean, I ended up buying that on Blu-ray. It's fantastic, and I've watched it a couple times. I think it's a fantastic movie, and I would love to see that storyline taken forward, even with those characters. The same people, and they're like no-name people, but they still did a fantastic job. Um, there are great actors and actresses out there, and I'd like to see. That's what I think. What we need for these type of stories. Not doesn't have to be someone that they played in everything else. You can get someone that's new or not so well known and put them into a starring role like that, if they're right for it. So definitely watch it, and let us know what you think of it. I think you guys will all enjoy it. So back to you, Rob.
All right, all right. This next story is actually really cool. It brought back a lot of memories when I first saw this. The Internet Archive has launched something called the Console Living Room. This is an initiative that they use to kind of bring back some of the old classic arcade systems and kind of preserve the experience of playing them to a point where they're basically going to allow these games to be played in a browser, and the console living room uses an emulator that runs in the browser to reproduce games for the classic systems like the Atari 2600, the Atari 7800, the Odyssey 2, which was my favorite system back in the day, probably because I had it. It was the one that was attached to my TV, so it was my favorite. The ColecoVision, which is phenomenal, well, was phenomenal at the time, and the Bally Astrocade. Did you have any of these, Mark?
I had a 2600.
None of the others? No?
Um, Not that I recall.
No? Okay.
I missed part of your list. I know.
Yeah, 2600,
I
7800, the Magnavox Odyssey 2, the ColecoVision, and the Bally Astrocade.
no, it's just the 2600 out of those.
Yeah.
No, I noticed the visuals. I had not, when I was doing my Laura Croft story, I didn't click. We were still on the Titanfall image, so I was like, "Oops!" I was paying attention to what I was doing wrong and not listening to you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, no worries. No worries. So some of the classic games that they've brought back are for the 2600. There's Yar's Revenge. I remember that game. That
Man,
was advertised like crazy.
I played a ton of that game, dude.
Oh yeah. Then there was Hero. Actually, it's H.E.R.O. and I have no idea what it stands for anymore. But I remember there was some dude flying through these like caves or stuff with some kind of like helicopter jumpsuit or backpack. Fantastic game. River Raid. You got to know River Raid.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. ColecoVision had some games like BC's Quest for Tires. That's the BC comic strip dude. I remember he was going around on his rock unicycle and jumping. That's kind of all I remember about it. Burger Time. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Odyssey 2 had Casey Munchkin, which was their ripoff of blatant, no doubt about it, ripoff of Pac-Man. And they beat Atari to it. They were like the first Pac-Man ripoff to hit the home market, and they sold so much. This game was like so impossible to find, and I remember I was just like begging my parents to get it, and we waited in this huge line to get it. I mean, that was back when Pac-Man Fever. Remember that
Yeah.
song?
Oh
The
yeah, man.
Pac-Man Fever was the all the rage,
All those
and
kids out there today, they missed out, man.
oh for sure, all the quarters I put into that freaking game, man. And shortly thereafter, they got sued. Casey Munchkin, I think, got taken off the shelves for a while, or I don't remember if it was permanently or not, because of its similarities to Pac-Man. But yeah, console living room. You might want to check it out if you remember some of these games are from back in the day. And if you're not familiar with them, you'll probably look at them and go, "This stuff is horrible. How do people play this?" Well, it was cool in the day. The graphics were amazing in comparison. So maybe 20, 30 years from now, they'll have Call of Duty or something in whatever the equivalent is of a browser then. And people look at it and go, "This is horrible. It doesn't even look realistic. It looks cartoony." But yeah, Internet Archive, console living room. Check it out.
Cool.
Back to you.
Alrighty. So if you've heard of Itagaki, Tomonobu Itagaki, he used to be the head at Team Ninja, makers of Dead or Alive franchise. He is now part of Valhalla Games, and they're going to launch Devil's Third sometime in 2014. So they said it's around 80% complete right now, and it's going to be out in 2014. This game is a third-person shooter with melee combat elements set during a modern-day world war. So it's Itagaki's first game since his controversial exit from Tecmo back in 2008. So this game looked pretty interesting when I've seen it in the past. I think they showed this, was it the last E3 we saw some video trailer of it, I believe. Looked pretty interesting, like a lot of action. So this is something I'm kind of curious to see what it's all about when it hits. But we should see that game sometime in 2014.
That's this year.
That is.
Doesn't seem that far away since 2014 is this year.
It's like right now.
Yeah, that's right. All right, moving on. This is kind of an interesting little story where Microsoft considered a disc-less Xbox One. And when I say disc, I mean optical. So they were basically thinking of eliminating that, which would have been, I don't know if it necessarily would have been a good thing for them, at least in terms of public opinion. And Phil Spencer said in an interview, obviously, after the announcement and E3, there was some feedback about what people wanted to change. There was a real discussion about whether we should have an optical disk drive in the Xbox One or if we could get away with a purely diskless console. But when you start looking at bandwidth and game size, it does create issues. He went on to say that Microsoft ultimately decided on putting the Blu-ray drive in the system, which of course is what they did since we all have them in our Xbox Ones. Basically giving the people an easy way to install a lot of content. From some of those original thoughts, you saw a lot of us really focusing on the digital ecosystem you see on other devices, thinking of and building around that. When the Xbox One was first announced, Microsoft envisioned an all-digital DRM-tuned console. Basically, they went through after that and shortly changed their policies after all of the hate from everybody. And Microsoft Senior Director of Product Management, Albert Penello, has said that folks basically weren't ready for an all-digital console. They may have been right, or Microsoft's may have been right. What we were wrong in was that it was just too soon. People just weren't ready to make the leap right away. So that was kind of interesting, and I'm glad that they put it in there, but I don't know if it really matters for me, just because I'm going all digital.
Yeah, but I think it would have been a huge mistake to not allow to have a Blu-ray player or to be able to watch DVDs. I still believe some.
I agree.
Because I don't have a DVD or a Blu-ray player. Well, I got my 360 still hooked up to this TV, but I took my PlayStation 3 downstairs, hooked it up downstairs so that we could stream Amazon Prime because the Xbox I had down there did not have a wireless card in it because it was the old one. So right now I actually have 3 Xboxes hooked up to my TV in my office. My Xbox One, my 360 that I play on, and another 360 that is just used to stream music throughout our speaker system throughout the house that we have, so that we can play music through the house and outside in the pool, and that's what that one does. It's just essentially a streaming media player. But it's not. Shouldn't say streaming because it doesn't have a network card in it. So I just got a bunch of music on a thumb drive that's plugged into it. So
Yeah.
but it plays off of that through the house. So, but yeah, I mean, I like that. I can now use this as a Blu-ray player, and not have to have the PlayStation up here because I don't have any more spots to plug it in anyways.
Right.
So and I've already got 3 consoles sitting up here. I don't need a 4th one just to be Blu-ray. Too many people are using disc-based media. Too many people still want to buy their media. I think it would have been. I really think it truly would have been the death of Microsoft. I mean, can you imagine had they announced there was no drive in this thing? I mean, look how people freaked out as it was.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how it just? I think people would have torched their headquarters. I mean, seriously, it would have been bad.
Just because, well, people were just looking for something. There was just so much hate towards Microsoft. There's nothing that Microsoft basically could have done right.
Yeah, I mean,
it just would have been, yeah.
I mean, originally I wasn't planning to do all digital, but as it got closer to the time drawing near, I'm just like, you know what? I kind of like that I can just click on the game and play it.
Oh yeah.
Then I don't have to put a disc in. If I have to install the whole thing, then what's the point of putting the disc in only to prove I own it? Well, then I might as well just go digital. I mean, that was the whole thing, call it laziness or what, but I don't need to have a disc on my shelf. And it's, I look up now, all I see is all these 360 games and no Xbox One, but that's all right. I know what I've got.
Yeah, exactly.
And it'll make it when I move or, something like that. I don't have to lug all this stuff around or box up all these old games. And But I can't imagine them putting a digital-only device. It would have killed it. They would have not sold near as many as they did.
There's one additional thing to going all digital, and that's that you don't have evidence on the shelf that you got something else.
That's true. It's true.
Everything is under the radar.
I just sit here and go, click. No, dear, I didn't buy anything. Did you see me go to the store? Oh, yes. Man, we're horrible.
Yes.
All right, so why don't you go into the story you initially started to leave off with?
Okay.
And I think you'll see, because if you notice, my next one came out after what you were saying. So this is kind of where it all ties in, but you can read my little one there if you want to.
Okay. Absolutely. So Major Nelson, Larry Herb, was interviewed by Canada.com, of all places, on basically the Xbox One and Microsoft, and he talked about the future of Xbox One. And it was a little bit of an interesting article, so here I will read it to you all. Hardcore gamers feel abandoned by the Xbox brand because Microsoft's latest black box wants to take over your living room and do more than just play games. On the other side of the spectrum, the casual gaming audience seems like it doesn't yet know what to make of the Xbox One and its wacky Kinect-enabled voice command system. With its $499 price tag, which of course is, as we've heard this over and over and over, $100 more than the PlayStation 4, it makes it even a harder sell, although it does come bundled with a Kinect. There's also the difficult task of removing the memory of all of the DRM controversy that we had mid last year. Basically, that turned many hardcore fans off on the Xbox One. Larry Herb, Major Nelson, feels that Xbox One's biggest strength is the ability to cater to a variety of audiences. Instead of focusing solely on the hardcore gamer, Herb feels Xbox One has the ability to be an all in one entertainment box casual fans can enjoy as well. He says there's no reason why you can't have an extremely powerful game console that also does entertainment. Why does it have to be an and or? We need to have or we need to be able to have something that's both. When that console isn't being used for playing a game, that means perhaps the gamer wants to watch some streaming media. Why not design a system that can handle that as well and switch between the two? According to Herb, Microsoft is committed to improving the Xbox One's operating system, much like the company did over the course of the Xbox 360's life. Major features that were a big part of the 360's visual interface are mysteriously absent from the Xbox One's operating system. Pinning your favorite applications is much more difficult than it should be. Finding out how full the Xbox One's hard drive is, and even the console's live party chat system, one of the 360's best online features, is disappointingly glitchy. If you look back at the 360's launch, what it was in 2005 when it launched is completely different from what it is today. It's fascinating to see the different things that have come along. Things iterated. We didn't even have things like the party system or the ability to support external storage when we launched the 360. So we are absolutely committed to adding new features to Xbox One over the course of its lifespan. Kinect 2.0, either the Xbox One's greatest asset or biggest enemy, depending on the opinion of who you talk to, isn't as intuitive as it could potentially be because it's not compatible with common regular language. Instead of saying Xbox, go to Rise, users have to state Xbox, go to Rise, Son of Rome, stating the full name of the game. Also, many of the console's other voice commands are awkward and difficult to remember. While saying the correct voice command makes Kinect work 90% of the time because of its success of Apple's Siri voice navigation system, many consumers expect more of Kinect 2.0 and Xbox One. While he mostly stayed in line with the company talking points during the interview, it was interesting to hear how committed Microsoft is to improving the Xbox One, particularly Kinect voice control. Major Nelson finishes up by saying, we've taken a dramatic leap forward with integrating Kinect. Making the choice to include Kinect with every Xbox One was a bold decision. It enables certain scenarios like everyone having access to voice, gesture control, and of course games being able to count on it being there. It's part of our overall system improvement and approach as we continue moving forward and refining the technology. Well, I guess there's a little bit more. We want to look back and look at what we've done. We want to continue to adapt the system to what gamers want. The team that works on Xbox are gamers themselves. We want to build the system that we use and that we know gamers would enjoy using. We're going to continue to refine the system and make it what the Xbox fans are expecting and what they want. We're listening to the feedback every single day. I've already seen some of the changes in the operating system internally with what we're building. And then he also revealed that Xbox One Guide's premium features that are still coming to Canada, but they don't have a release date. So I guess they're getting some of the features as well that they've been lacking. So, yeah. Well, this is all stuff that we kind of knew already, right?
Yeah, and did you mention the Xbox feedback page?
The other one?
Because there was an unofficial page. It was called Xbox One Feedback, but I guess it's been changed to Player Feedback. So
.net.
playerfeedback.net, and then they're tracking Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Wii U. But Major Nelson did say that Microsoft is actually looking and viewing the changes and requests that are posted here. And so they are going to look at this and consider these things that are here. So, you can go ahead and check out what's out there. There's it's broken down by different categories. For example, under storage, there's 5 requests, 1 ability to see the remaining amount of hard drive space, the amount of SkyDrive space available, ability to use an external USB drive for storage, which we know that's coming. Be able to read media, music, photos, and videos from a USB device, and SkyDrive ability to read or play MP3 and various media files in the background. So that's just under storage. And there's a whole bunch of different things like Smart Glass and Party Chat and voice commands and media playback controller, blah blah blah. So go on out there if you want to see what people or what has been listed here. You can send your issues or suggestions to the comments page as well, right from there. So if you want to get something added, you can. The interesting thing I've noted about this says it's by Ryan McCaffrey. I don't know if that's the same Ryan McCaffrey from IGN. So it's not the same Twitter handle that Ryan McCaffrey uses, but that's the name listed at the bottom of the page. So I do not know if it's the same guy.
It's a software developer.
Oh, you know what? I clicked on his thing and that's not the same guy.
Yeah.
It's not the same Ryan. So, but anyways, you can contact him if you want to have something listed that you don't see.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is kind of an interesting little sounding board, at least for the people that have the Xbox One. And I think Microsoft spends a lot of time and money looking into things, doing focus groups and research and so forth. And something like this would be a good supplement to that, where they can actually see in one place where what people want or what people are clamoring for. And it'll be exciting to see if some of this actually gets done. I'm sure it will at some point. Might not be right away, but it will. All right. Back to you, my friend.
Back to me?
Oh,
my
no.
turn already? I think it's, you got the last one here.
Okay. I'll do this one as well. There's been a new FX series called Chosen. It's CHOZEN. This will debut on Xbox One. It's a cartoon. It's a new well, not a cartoon, I'm sorry. It's an animated series. Didn't mean to offend anybody. So it's a new animated series from the creators of Eastbound and Down, and Archer. It's going to debut on Xbox One a week before it airs on Xbox One owners who have a subscription through a participating cable provider, some of which are Uverse, Comcast, Cablevision, and WOW, which is my provider here. Although, just on a quick side note, one thing that I found is, okay, so I have WOW internet, but I don't have WOW cable, and that doesn't give me any of this stuff, which kind of stinks. So when you sign up for this stuff, it also wants you to have the actual cable and internet. Well, I guess you don't really need the internet. You just need the cable portion of it. But anyway, you can fire up your FX Now app on January 6th, which is on Monday, which is tomorrow. And tune into this. Little backstory on this. Chosen stars a gay white rapper recently released from prison who uses his talents to take aim at the stereotypes of machismo and misogyny that are, those are weird to say, that are synonymous. What is this, like with these hard words, with rap music. The character, also named Chosen, is voiced by Bobby Moynihan of Saturday Night Live fame. There we go. Look for that tomorrow. And that is all, my friend.
That's it, huh?
Yeah. Now we can move on to community stuff.
All right. Let's do that. So we're going to drop down here. If you want to join the community or join us on Facebook, just look for This Xbox Life, all one word. You can email us, contact@thisxboxlife.com, and follow us on Twitter. Um, uh, I got Noda an email or a message through Xbox Live this week from Nadius Maximus. He has 3 codes that he sent me for the Maw. So if you have not played the Maw on Xbox 360 and you haven't gotten one yet from McDonald's, they're giving away Maw and Ms. Explosion Man. That's where these codes I think came from.
Yep.
I got more of those floating around here too. Just send me. You can either send me an email, send us an email, contact@thisxboxlife.com, and just send us an email and say, hey, I'd like a Maw code, and we'll just give them away to the first 3 people that email us. I know they've been giving them away in the Facebook group. People have been posting all their codes up there for people to take, so I'm not sure who still needs one. So I think this is about the best way. But first 3 emails we get, we'll get a code. All right. So thanks to Nadius Maximus for that. We appreciate it. So the community question this week was, what is your New Year's gaming resolution? You know, we always make new resolutions at the beginning of the year, and they're probably broken by the end of January. But I wanted to know what the community's gaming resolutions were. So Rob will just take these one at a time. But Aaron said, I'd like to work through some of my backlog on 360 and, of course, add more gamer score.
Yep. Don writes in, same here, need to finish and start 360 games, or I'll start to lag behind on the new gen stuff.
All right. Jason says, play more games with Wingman 709. That's probably a good one. I think that Wingman 709, I've heard about him. I think he's kind of a cool guy. So.
Or something.
Something.
Yeah. Tom writes in, 100% complete 4 titles. I think in my 6 years on Xbox, I've 1K'd 1 game.
Rob, have you ever 1K'd a game?
Of course. That one game.
That wasn't a 1K.
No, it was.
The Doritos?
Not Doritos.
Oh, don't tell me you're
Avatar.
talking about the Avatar. That doesn't count.
Yes, it does. In my book, it does.
All right, Chris writes in, I'd really like to try and get back into Call of Duty Ghosts. I've played 1 team deathmatch on Xbox One and played 1 story mission. Or maybe just get into Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Jacob writes in, maybe buy a second Xbox original and mod it to adding games I wanted to play when the console was current. Also, to go back and grab the secret achievements for Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon. If GTA 5 isn't released on the Xbox One, then I'll go back and buy a copy for my 360.
Ross says, find a shooter to recreate the fun of the very first Halo.
Eric says, get involved in online gaming a lot more. Maybe start streaming on Twitch or making YouTube videos.
Kareem says, playing more Battlefield 4 on Xbox One and finishing off the games I own on 360.
Robert writes in, I don't make resolutions ever.
All right. Corey says, to play more online in general, whether it be co-op or just multiplayer.
Don writes in again, I'd like to play online more too. Too darn shy.
John says, my New Year's gaming resolution is to try out new types of games that I normally overlook. In other words, racing games and maybe sports games. Tried out Forza 5 and Need for Speed Rivals and love them. I might check out NBA 2K14 also. Those are genres I normally don't play.
Andrew writes in, hits 100,000 gamer score. Get a second 360 and create a backyard chicken hoarder game on Spark. Sure.
Henley says, play less Borderlands 2 and more Battlefield 4 on Xbox One. Play more co-op online.
Jesus writes in, mine is to play a lot more games with the community here. I have a lot of people added, but I honestly talk to and play with about 10 to 20 people. Even then, I regularly talk to only about 4. So that means there's about 240 or so people. I have no clue who they are and never played a single game with them on here. Like the other day, I joined, was it Carbide?
Yeah.
I'll be a 4 party. and 2 community members were in the party after Carbide left. I was like, so are you guys part of TXL or something? Just because honestly, I did not know. Tragic Zero and Divine probably thought, is this guy serious? But they are people that I've never played with. In the end, they were pretty cool guys to play Battlefield with.
All right. William says, I definitely like to get 20,000 gamer score.
And Jason writes in, I'm at 189,000 and my goal is 200,000 gamer score this year.
So, Rob, what's your gaming resolution this year?
I got to say, there's really 2 things. Number one is I really have a awful bad habit of just starting a game and never going back to it. There's so many games I just boot them up, I play a little bit, and then boom, I'm done. And I really want to go back and start finishing more games. So hopefully, Max Curse of Brotherhood was the first one that I actually. It's the first of many that I'll actually complete. And I just want to bump that gamer score. It's been piddly forever. So by completing the games, that'll help the second one. How about you, man?
Um, my resolution is to try to play more games that are outside of my norm. So I've kind of done that with Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. Um, Also, I gotta look back. There's been a couple things I've played that were kind of out of my norm this last year. I should have looked through my collection up here, um, but I've really enjoyed them. I kind of want to try to give like RPGs a little bit more of a maybe take a risk and try to play something. Like I loved Mass Effect, which turned into more of an action game. But I'd like to try. I tried what is it, Fallout 3. I didn't like that. Didn't care for Fallout 3, but I kind of want to try to, stretch it out a little bit more, try some things that maybe might not initially interest me, and see what happens. So, just to kind of expand my gaming horizons. But I probably still won't do the sports stuff, other than racing. I do like the racing games, but that's it for me.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our
And
New Year's gaming resolution. So let's move into what's coming out this week, Rob. What's new that we can play?
yeah, man, there's not a whole lot out there. And I was just looking at some of the sites. It's really weird where there's basically nothing coming out for at least the next month, according to these lists. But we know that there's stuff that's coming out. It just seems that these lists are all incomplete. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I'm looking at,
like nothing shows till February.
yeah,
Right.
because I'm looking on GameSpot right now, and I did release date on Xbox One. And what's weird is they show below first release December 31. Super Time Force first release December 31. Deliverance December 31.
Yeah.
Unless that's the end of the year, maybe. So I think a lot of these gaming sites got to get their stuff together
Yeah,
because
I don't
there's
see even with like GameFly, they don't have the first Xbox One game is not till the 28th, but then they also show Zoo Tycoon as the 31st of January, which that game's already out. So that makes no sense. And like on 360, they're coming soon. Their next one is again January 28th for Dragon Ball Z. And then we get into February, and then we've actually starting to get games in February. So I
yeah.
think we're just. I don't think we're going to see squat until the end of January, 1st of February. Then it's going to start picking up again.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of time, and there's some decent games that came out. So we it gives us more time to catch up on stuff and to enjoy the stuff that we have.
Yep, I got time to go finish those last two achievements in Dead Rising 3 before the DLC comes out.
There you go.
So, all right.
So yeah, nothing
That's
really this week or for either system, Xbox. Well, actually, all three systems. There's nothing new for the original Xbox. There's nothing new for the 360, and there's nothing new for the Xbox One.
But if you do buy something, whether it's new or old, you can always buy it at Amazon.com. Be sure to use our affiliate link. You can do that by going to thisxboxlife.com/Amazon, or you can go to thisxboxlife.com and click on the Amazon banner on the right-hand side of the page. Either way, it'll take you to our affiliate page, and we will get a little tiny small bonus for you purchasing through our link, which again we will start to use to have giveaways and buying games and gift cards and stuff so that you guys can use. So
Yeah, and they've had some fantastic sales lately on Amazon, like $40 full release title games for the Xbox One and some headsets.
yeah.
Really cool.
So yeah, don't forget to support us that way. It doesn't bring your cost up at all. So.
Yep,
And I guess that's it, Rob. Did you
that's
have
all, my friend.
anything else?
No, sir.
Then
That
I
is all.
guess rate us 5 stars in iTunes, please, if you listen to us through there. And other than that, I am Mark, aka Wingman709. I'm taking off.
I'm Rob, also known as Presar. Thanks for listening and watching, everybody. We'll catch you all next week.